Okay, we are live, everybody. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending upon where you are in the world. How is everybody? How is everybody? We are going to discuss moving abroad, traveling abroad, living abroad, whatever your questions are. Join the chat, leave me a question in the comments, and I will do, excuse me, my very best to answer it. How is everybody doing this Sunday? How are you all? It's been a minute. It's been a while. I'm going to start doing lives again. Um I definitely miss interacting with you all. Let's see who is joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, wherever you are in the world. We're talking moving abroad, we're talking traveling, we're talking Paris life. Hi Cheryl PhD. Hello, how are you? Thank you for joining. Any questions? Do we have any questions? Cheryl, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I will do my best to answer them. This is a Q&A session. Ask me whatever it is that you'd like about traveling, about moving abroad. If there are any specific countries where you are looking at moving abroad, or you're looking at traveling more often too, right? Where are you in your process? I've been an expat officially. I've moved here January 1 of 2023. Before that, I did a month-long scouting trip. My daughter and I in August of 2022 and spent a month here, left to the US, spent and came back to Paris, spent 2 more months here, went back home, and then got my visa. Let's see. Cheryl has got some questions. No, Barbara, I'm sorry. Well, hi, Barbara. Thank you. Happy Memorial Day from DC. Thank you, Barbara. Happy Memorial Day. God, I really want like some ribs. I'm not even gonna lie. Some ribs, some macaroni and cheese, some greens, some watermelon, all of that good stuff. Cheryl PhD wants to know, is Paris the only place I wanted to live? You know what? I went a lot of places. I think I've traveled to more than 30 countries. But at one point, I thought that Mexico was going to be the spot. I thought Tulum was going to be the spot. And I visited during the pandemic. And while it was nice, it just wasn't the spot for me. So I've been a lot of places. And yeah, some places were great to travel, but living there is so totally different. Where else? I initially thought my goal with this particular move was I did not want to be more than 8 hours away from the US. Like I didn't want to, don't get me wrong, places like Thailand, cities like Bali are great. Asia is great. Africa is great. The continent is great. I just did not want it to take me forever and a day to get home. So at that time, that was not really an option. I wanted to be like an 8 hour or so ride away, plane ride away from the US. My children are still there. Now they're adults, right? My mom is still there. Like again, my family is still in the US. So for me, I just thought if I needed to get to somebody quickly or if they needed to get to me, I didn't want it to take like 2 days. Okay. So although those other places are great and I'm a firm believer, you should move where you want to move. Like there is no judgment. Move where you feel happy because at the end of the day, everybody has got to be happy where they are. You can be happy for someone else even if it's a place where you yourself may not be, right? But at the end of the day, you got to live there, right? So yeah, so I just, for me, for this move, I knew that I didn't want to be very very far away. I wanted to be a short plane ride away. Like I thought about it like, okay, a work day. I want to be within a work day away of the US if I need to go back quickly. Barbara is saying it's 60 degrees. Ooh, that's cold. That is cold. You're gonna have to barbecue in a jacket, right? A sweater or something, right? Um, but yeah, enjoy your holiday and your day off for sure. But yeah, so to answer Cheryl's question, like I did think about some other places, but this was a place for me that resonated. Is it my final place? Not necessarily. I mean, I like it here. I'm building a long-term life here. But like anything else, if you got an opportunity somewhere else, maybe you might consider the opportunity. And that's where I am at this point. I'm building my life here actively. But again, if listen, if God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, if God opens up that opportunity, I'm following it and I'm taking it. So for now, France makes it relatively easy to move abroad. As an American, you simply have to follow a few steps. You have to make a certain amount of money in terms of have savings set aside per application, right? You have to have a certain amount, and I think that amount is about 19K. I might be a little wrong, but it's about, last year was 17K, and I think it went up for 2025. So I want to say now it's like 19K. And that's, euro equivalent, right? So you have to have that amount set aside in an account. Technically, you may want to, they do look at what you do, your profession. For the tourist visa, they'll let you come over. Is the relatively easiest visa to get. I can only tell you what I did for my visa process, and I had to have a letter stating my intention. I had to like tell them why I wanted to come here. I had to tell them the purpose of me coming here. I had to, in my letter, I emphasized like how I wanted to contribute to the cultural side of France. And they asked for everything. They asked for paycheck stubs, they asked for bank statements, they asked for 401k, like your financial resources. You have to prove that you can actually afford to live here. So you have this money set aside or whatever. And they're looking at cash money, like not 401k necessarily. So if you meet that requirement, you get insurance through a company that will insure you for your health care before you're able to get the French healthcare insurance. You're usually good. It's relatively simple. So for now, France is relatively easy. So it's relatively easy to get a visa here as of right now. Now things are changing, so we'll see how things go. There's a lot of demand from Americans to come here. In the past couple years, it has increased, according to what my immigration attorney is saying. There's so much just political upheaval right now with that man in office, and he's pissing off allies. As of now, things are okay, but just saying, you just never know when things are going to change. Barbara, menopause, listen, I'm going through it too. The perimenopause. I don't have any hot flashes though. So I'm as of now, I'm blessed. No hot flashes. I hope that continues. Um, but I get it. Yeah, I definitely get it. Nice weather out. Cool, not too warm, not too hot, right? So yeah, so to answer your question, Cheryl, yeah, I mean, this was definitely, Paris was on the top of my list. It worked out. Again, it was, relatively easy. Mexico is a country to where they're tightening up rules. Again, when you're looking at moving abroad, your geopolitical conflicts and that landscape has a whole lot to do with who immigrates and who doesn't. And we know because of that man who's in office and him putting people from Mexico, like sending them back and deportating people. Mexico is now, they've tightened up, right? They just, in the past few weeks, ended a program that would, if you visited before, I want to say like 2021 or so, or 2022, you were able to get a residency pretty easy. That program has officially ended. And so the president of Mexico, and I can't remember her name off the top of my head, but she has threatened that, look, if Trump sends all these people back to Mexico, that she's going to perhaps send Americans back. So it's honestly, that's one country where it's advisable, because at one point you used to be able to land there and you would tell the customs agent how long you were going to stay, and they would pretty much give you like a visa for like 3 to 6 months, pretty much off top. Now it's not like that. That was years ago. So things change. Geopolitically, things change. So if you're looking at moving to a certain country, it is probably best, if you're looking at, moving abroad there, it's probably best that you get the visa, get whatever requirements you need so you can stay long term. There are still Americans who go back and forth. Maybe they live in like Texas or California or border states. They go back and forth pretty easily. But again, if you've built a life there, do you really want someone saying, no, you can't come? You get the wrong customs agent and you're not going back. So I highly recommend that people get the visa that you need, get the residency that you need if you are serious about going to a country. Do I have to maintain a full-time residence? That's a good question. So it depends on what your intentions are. If you're just trying to get here, like just to get the tourist visa, they don't pay attention much. Like they don't really pay attention. So if you said, okay, I'm just getting a year visa, once you get it, you get it. If you know that you're probably going to be somewhere else that next year, like within, like let's just say you say, I want to get my visa, right? And I'm going to travel around wherever. Okay, you can do that. But when you're looking at the renewal, that's when they're going to look and see how much time you actually spent. So it depends on what your goal is. There is, if you are somewhere, well, France considers you a tax resident if you spend more than I think it's 100 and like 180 days or something like that. They consider you a tax resident at that point. So it really just depends on what your goals are. If you're, as an American, you get up to 90 days within a 180-day period. And it's a rolling calendar. And that time counts toward France and any of the Schengen countries, right? That's like 20 plus countries. So it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get your a visa for here and you're going to be bopping around a little bit, that's one thing, right? But if you know that you want to eventually get residency, I would not recommend it. My attorney has said, like unofficially, he said, look, they do look at the amount of time you spend here. So it just depends on your goals. If you're eventually working toward a long-term residency, as I am, eventually perhaps like citizenship, it is, recommended that you don't, that you spend the majority of your time in France. They understand you travel, they understand all of that, but it depends again how you're looking to use it, what you're looking to do, what your goals are. So to answer, sorry, that's a long answer, but yeah, that's kind of for that tourist visa. They definitely look at the amount of time, again, if you're looking to renew. Now, if you're like a student visa, for example, that's a little bit different. And that's usually not like considered to be the path toward long-term residency here. It just, again, depends on how you're going to use it. And there are a number of visas that you can get. You can get the tourist visa, the easiest. You can get the student visa if you are, pursuing higher education. And the student visa, I believe, is not renewable, after whatever your term is. Then the tourist visa is renewable annually. You can also get a talent passport visa, which the talent passport is usually requires some type of business ownership or a company sponsoring you, or you making an investment, right? So and then there's also the professional liberal / auto entrepreneur. Now with those, you are declaring a profession, right? And all of these things have to be approved. For the auto entrepreneur, your business plan has to be approved and by French authorities, and they've got to be on board with whatever it is that you're planning. Professional liberal is there's some limitations with that also. If you start out saying, "Hey, I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to be an interior designer," right? But then you look up, and you're actually not doing that. You're doing something else that's not related to interior design. Let's say you're a fashion designer. Then they're going to be like, wait a minute. So you have to be very specific in what it is that you do. And it has to be in the same category. You can't just go flip it, right? You can't just go from one thing to the other. It's got to be consistent with what you stated on your application. So those are a few, different types of visas. There's even another one you can do, like a 30K investment, right? If you want to invest a certain amount into a company. There's one, I think, for a couple $100,000. It is considered like to be their version of a tech visa. There is no digital nomad visa in France. Like, that does not technically exist. So it just depends. But yeah, there are some levels that they generally look at in terms of how long you're going to stay. But again, visa information changes every year, and it gets harder every year. So for some visas, there's a language requirement. And one other one I forgot to mention is a family visa. Let's say I marry a man who was born here in France, and he has French residency. So he's a French citizen. I'm sorry. He's a French citizen, not a resident. He's a French citizen. You can join under the family visa. And then that way you get your own individual visa, but it's kind of like you're coming in to join your spouse. So it just depends on how you're trying to come. But people, yeah, it's a lot of different categories. Any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you so much, Cheryl, for that question. Any other question that we have? Anything else that you guys would like me to answer? I'm going to do some content this week. One of the most popular things on my channel in the past week or so has been the interviews with UK US comedian Gina Yashir. And it's been very popular. You guys have y'all loved it. I did not know. I did not know y'all had so much love for Gina. I love it. So that I will be doing a few more interviews, posting those this week. Also, I need to talk about my visa experience. So, and what that was like getting my visa. I got my visa renewed in April, and I didn't really discuss a whole lot about it. I had a lot going on. I literally was like, I left for my flight to Tokyo the same day I got my visa, the same day I picked it up. So I didn't get a chance to really kind of talk about it. And also I have to talk about, on this channel, I've talked about to you guys about my dog, Teddy, and his health challenges. And I'm just kind of saying this for the first time, but we lost him last month. And so, Teddy, he was going on 16 years old. He was very old, and he began to have kidney problems and kidney issues. And so it got to a point to where it began to be very painful for him. And we had to make the decision to put him down, myself and my daughter. So that was like a whole difficult thing. Teddy had been with me for 2 years here in Paris, and like Teddy was like my road dog. Teddy we had him for 15. He was going on 16. We had him for 15. And so this was a dog that my children grew up with. And I brought him here after my dog, like my kids are, doing their own thing. And my daughter was watching him, but then her school and grad school began to get really busy. So I brought Teddy with me in 2023. And so Teddy was like my road dog, I would come home and he'd be here, right? And unfortunately, his kidney problems, his age, it got to be so painful. So I'm going to do I did do some videos of him before. And I just got really good memories of him. And I just, yeah, we miss Teddy a lot. um like I said, we had to make the unfortunate decision to put him down because the kidney problems were not going to get any better. The medication he gave, that the vet gave us, made him sick. So it was a really, just a difficult thing. So I will talk more about that experience sometime this week, but I did want to mention it here because I had not really announced it or mentioned anything about him in a while. Let's see. Cheryl is asking, are there any restaurants that make like the food that I miss? Um, you know what? There are a few. So I do miss like fried chicken, and there are a few fried chicken restaurants. Like there's one called, I think it's Baba Yaya's. They're pretty good. There's a couple other ones. Mama Jackson is one, a soul food restaurant, and they have a whole soul food experience, right? It's a nice experience. There's one other one that I need to try that I've heard is really good, and it has like actual chicken and waffles. So I will try that. Um, but yeah, it's one of those things of where like the soul food has to be good, or I don't even want to deal with it. It just makes me more upset that like because now my mouth is ready, and yeah. So I'm very cautious and careful of where I eat as it relates to that. But there is this one restaurant that I do want to try. Hi, Eleanor. How are you? Eleanor, my lessons are coming along. They're coming along. I'm doing more self study, but I need to get focused and get back on the French lesson bandwagon. Joyeux dimanche to you as well. Um, but yeah, but as to answer Cheryl's question, yes, I totally get why someone, you mentioned the lady who moved to Porto and opened a soul food restaurant. That's a brilliant move because there are so many Black Americans who are in Portugal. So, there are times that you miss your comfort foods, right? Like, I do miss macaroni and cheese. And this is a country with a whole lot of cheese, but it's not necessarily the cheese that would fit within macaroni and cheese, right? So, but I totally get it. Like yeah, there are things I definitely miss. Macaroni and cheese. I can make the candied yams, right? But they're just certain seasoning combos that you won't find here. So I make the best with what I have. And fried chicken, I mean, I can fry that myself. I just don't. I need to get some La Crusette or something, but I don't have the cast, like the traditional cast iron. I definitely don't have that. Like that's at my home in Atlanta, packed away. My daughter uses it, but I didn't bring that kind of stuff. So there are some things I do miss. Let's see what else. Barbara is saying Gina is going to be at the DC Comedy Club. Yes, she's talked about it on social media. Um, I hope you can see it. Like I hope you can see the show. Like I know it's going to be an excellent show. She's hilarious, first of all. So, and her story has really resonated with people here, like in this community. It really has. Like, I didn't know that her content would be so relatable, right? I just had no idea. But Gina Yashir, she'll be at the DC Comedy Club June 8th. Y'all go see her, please. Please go see her. She's hilarious. All of her stand up that I have seen has just been brilliant. So y'all make sure y'all go see her. Any other questions? We've been talking now for a little bit. Any more questions, you guys, that you have? I'm here to answer your questions. Leave me a comment, say hello. Say hello, say hello. So I will post more on Gina's journey as well as other celebrities who are traveling out here in these travel streets, living abroad. You've got more people who are visiting different countries. So you'll see more kind of lifestyle content that won't just be about me. It'll be about other people, right? So you'll see interviews, you'll see more content, you'll see more things telling other people's journey as well. And I'll still have my journey. We'll still talk about me as well. But I'm planning to do lives, continue to do lives to be able to to answer you guys' questions. Um, so I will start doing lives again. I definitely miss just interacting and talking to y'all. So stay tuned for a few changes. Um, Anything else? Thank you all so much for joining. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Cheryl PhD. Thank you, Eleanor M. Thank you all for joining. If we don't have any more questions, I'm going to enjoy my Sunday. I think I'm going to go for maybe like a walk along the Seine River this afternoon. It's a beautiful day here. It was raining earlier. Now the sun is shining, so I'm going to enjoy the temperatures and go out to dinner later on tonight and enjoy the day. Eleanor, I just see your question here. Am I going to be on other YouTube channels? I don't have any lined up, but let me see what I can do about that. I need to probably reach out to some folks to see if they would feature me. But yeah, working on that one. I was telling a friend of mine that I'm able to, sometimes it's difficult for me to share my move abroad story like here on my channel, but when I get on other people's channel and people ask me questions, I'm like an open book. So I will start working on appearing on more channels. Thank you so much. Sharon, good morning. How are you? Sharon wants to know a roadmap about surrounding towns and prices. Sharon, it really depends. I will say this. It is cheaper to live in the suburbs of Paris. You get a larger home. Generally, the prices are of goods and services are less. Um, and yeah, rental prices just range. I will here. I'm going to put a link in the and I'm going to put a link here in the comments. It's called numbeo.com. It's a good way for you to compare prices because prices are really all across the board. It just depends on where you are. If you're around any tourist area, that's going to be the most expensive, right? But once you get outside of Paris, prices do go down. So numbeo.com will allow you, here, let me put this on here. It will allow you to check out the prices in the area that you'd like to look. And it tells you everything from rental prices, gasoline, like how much is a thing of milk. Okay, it tells you all that stuff. But I can say the rental market within, let's just say Paris, I would say probably the average is anywhere from like 700 to about 1300 or so for like a one bedroom or so. It really depends. It depends on where you are. That makes a big difference. Hi Anita, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for the compliment. If you a meetup in Paris, do y'all want to meet up in Paris? Anita just spoke it out. Listen, she said it and spoke it out there. If you're in Germany, you are on fire. I need to plan something because I would love. I've met many members of this community. I don't always put it online because when we meet, like we just laugh and kiki and we forget to take pictures. But I've met a number of you all as you have traveled to Paris or as you've come through Paris to go to other places. So Anita, that's a great idea. I need to start planning that. I will definitely let you know, Anita. Thank you so much for that suggestion. That sounds like something that I need to do because, like you're right, Germany is a hop, skip, and a jump. You've got the UK, you've got the Netherlands, you've got all these places that are relatively Belgium that are close by. So I think that's a great idea. Thank you for that inspiration. Anything else? Anything else? Any other questions? Any other questions? I'm going to, like I said, get ready to hit the streets. Um, enjoy my day. Any other questions that you guys have? I will stay a few more minutes to answer them if you've got some more questions that you can think of. Q&A, what would you like to ask? I'm going to also put the link here. Let's see. Let me put the link to, for those of you who are interested in moving abroad, you're not sure how to do it, you're not sure how to go about it, you know you want to go, but you don't know where to start. I'm going to put the link to my Calendly. Book a call, a consulting call with me. I'm putting the link here. If you're just looking to figure out where to get started, no matter where you are in your move abroad journey, and no matter what country you want to go to, this is not France specific. But if you know you want to move abroad and you need a little bit of help clarifying, right, some things, there are so many things that, like, if I knew as much as I was in Exodus Summit, the Exodus Summit community, which is an awesome, awesome community, right? Awesome experts there in that community. However, if I had just known a little bit more, right, could have someone to give me like guidance, there were definitely some things I probably would have done differently. Because originally I planned to move here and I was not going to get a visa. What was I thinking? I don't know. My plan at that time was my one of my best friends is in the UK. She's in London. And I was like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna hop around. I'm gonna go to France to the UK, back and forth. Baby, no, that was not going to work. It was not going to work for a number of reasons. Number one, it is more expensive to bounce around. Like, you have to really be careful how you're bouncing around, because it ends up costing you when you don't have a particular place to stay, unless you're doing something like house sitting, for example. But the way that I was going about doing it, it and it would have been in January. The UK is very, very cold. It's colder than Paris. Just would not have worked for me. Everyone is different, and that's why I respect everyone's move abroad journey, but you have to know what works for you. January in the UK for me is a no. January here in Paris is hard enough. So I'm glad I didn't do that particular option. And it just would have been harder to do. It would have been harder, it would have been more expensive. I am glad that I went on ahead and got my visa, despite having that wonderful offer from my friend to be able to stay with her, right, until I got myself settled. I'm just glad that I went on ahead and was like, let me go ahead and hire this attorney. Let me go ahead and get this visa. And it really worked. It really worked out in my favor. So always, be true to yourself, and how you are and what you want, right? That's typically not going to change a whole lot once you change countries. So I knew for me that I had looked into like a roommate situation at one point, and I knew I was like, that's not going to work. Like, I just know it wasn't going to work for me. So know yourself, know like what your non-negotiables are and what you're willing to compromise on. I mean, for the right opportunity, we can all be willing to compromise. Meaning, if I found like a co-sharing situation that was so affordably priced, I might consider it and put that money in the bank, right? But there are some programs here, for example, in Paris, where you're going to pay about the same price that I'm paying now for my particular, you're going to pay even more. And you have your own room, you have your own private bathroom, but you share the common areas, which is the kitchen, for example, the living room. Those are shareable areas, and you might have like 10 people there. Now, there's a program that I actually looked into, and they beautifully retrofitted like mansions and these huge homes, but that's a lot of people. Like, I don't know about y'all, but that's a whole lot. That's a whole lot of people potentially. So it depends on what you're trying to do and how you're trying to do it. You got to know yourself also. So, everything is a learning experience, especially abroad. I can think of some things that I could have done better. Again, had I known, right, knowing what I know now and having successfully completed the move, having been here, got my third visa renewal, yeah, I would have done some things differently. And so doing some things differently, having that person that kind of guides you like step by step, well, ultimately it would have saved me like so much more money, right? So I put the link in the caption for those of you in the comments rather. So for those of you who want to move abroad, I will also put it in the link of this video caption as well. So for those of you who want to move abroad or travel more, you need a little bit of help figuring out how to do that. The link will be in the caption of the video as well, in case if you missed it, or if you're watching the replay. Let's see, what else? Anything else? Any other questions? If not, I'm going to get off of here. Enjoy my Sunday. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Enjoy your holiday weekend. I think, did I answer everybody's question? I believe that I did. Let's see. I believe I did. I'm looking to see now. Cheryl's asking, oh, the restaurants. Yeah, Cheryl, I think I answered your question about that one. Oh, see, I didn't even realize that I could see, look at this. I didn't realize that I could show the question and it would pop up here. Okay. Learn something new all the time. All right. Because I wondered, I was like, why is that question popping up? I thought I already answered it. Thank you so much, Sharon. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day, lovelies. Have a great Sunday. I will see you all next. I think I'm going to do this again next Sunday, probably the same time. So I will see you all again. Stay tuned for more content this week. We've got more Gina Yashir. And also, I will share a little bit more about Teddy and, me going through that process. Also, this week, visa renewal. We'll talk about that. And again, more of my life here in Paris. Thank you all so much. Enjoy your day, and we'll talk next week. Thank you.